Hey guys, Oli y'all, welcome back to the vlog. If you're new here, my name is Roshan. I am 18 years old, but my birthday is tomorrow, so by the time you guys see this, I will be 19. I'm so excited for my birthday. Yeah, I just moved to Denmark, like almost 2 months ago, and yeah, I am adjusting to life, and I've done, I think my second video was like a Q&A, not really a Q&A, but like kind of a Q&A of like why I moved to Denmark. So if you haven't seen that video, then go back and watch that, because otherwise this video is not going to make a lot of sense for you. So anyways, give me a minute. Okay, I'm back. I posted, I think it was maybe Tuesday or Thursday of last week. Anyways, that's unimportant. I posted like one of those question and answer box things on my Instagram story. Shameless plug. If you don't already follow my Instagram, I'll put the handle right here. Go give it a follow. It's private, so I'll know who you are. Anyways, okay. Yeah, so I posted a little question box thing and I got some responses, so I will answer your questions here. Anyways, okay, so the first question is best tips for jet lag. Okay, clearly I've been doing a lot of traveling recently, and moving to Denmark from Canada is a really long way. So yes, I did have a lot of jet lag. And I almost think that it was worse this time coming back again, because I was home like in Canada for 6 weeks between the first time that I was in Denmark to this time now. And I think like 6 weeks was like, obviously I was adjusted to my Canadian time zone again, but by the time I like came back, I was like, oh, okay. Like there wasn't that much time that passed in between, and like, I don't know, it was just harder going this direction. But I think it always is. So I'm from Alberta, and that is Mountain Standard Time, and I'm now in Central European Time. So that is an 8-hour time difference, which is a lot. I will always stand by this, that going the opposite direction is always easier. So when I go back, like when I go from Denmark to Canada, that's always the easier transition, just because like you can go to bed. So usually when I fly from here, I leave around like morning or lunchtime European time, and then it takes a long time to get back home, but by the time I get back home, usually with like layovers and stuff, I get home like late afternoon, early evening. So then it's really only a couple hours that I have to stay up before it's bedtime anyways. So I usually go to bed really early when I get home, really early being like 9:30. Maybe that's not early for you guys, but this time actually when I went back, I woke up in the middle of the night for the first 3 nights that I was back home, but after that, like, I was fine. And I also usually find that I get super tired around like 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is like midnight European time, so makes sense. But when I was home, that's when I went for coffee with my friends every day, 4 p.m. So we powered through, guys. Anyways, going this direction is a lot harder because with the time difference and everything, usually you're flying overnight, and then since Europe is 8 hours ahead from mountain time, it's like I always usually arrive in the morning European time, and then it's like you have to stay up the entire day here when you've already been up for probably almost 24 hours at home, and you're like landing at 11 here is 3 a.m. home time, so it's like, yeah, it's just really difficult. So actually, I've read a lot of articles and stuff, and they say that it takes about 1 day for every hour of time difference that you have to adjust to jet lag. And I'd actually say that that's pretty accurate. I would say it took me about 8-9 days to fully adjust to being back here. But I just took naps and drank coffee. I got through it, and you will too. Wow, that was so cringe. Okay, that was a really lengthy response for a simple question. Okay, but yeah, my tips for getting over jet lag is just power through. Coffee, naps, plan lots of activities, like not lots of activities, but like have something planned for the first few days that you're in the new time zone, because then you'll be doing things and you won't think about how tired you are. Okay, next question. How many people speak English in Denmark, and has the language barrier been difficult? Okay, so actually, I didn't know, like I knew this because I've been to Denmark before, but a lot of my friends back home, this was like a common misconception that they had, but Danish people actually speak like fluent English, and I'd say probably everybody under the age of like 70 speaks English fluently. I've only met a couple of people that don't speak English, and that they're like older people, like in their 80s. So yeah, pretty much everybody in Denmark speaks English, which is really helpful both as a tourist and as someone who has yet to learn the language. I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. Kids start learning English in, I think, like the first grade, the equivalent of the first grade in Canada. So I guess like age 6, 7, that kind of time. But obviously like they start with the basics, so. But yeah, I'd say probably by the time they're like 12, 13, 11, like around that age, they're like fluent enough to have conversations. So yeah. The second part of that question is, has the language barrier been difficult? In the beginning, it was, just because obviously I knew coming here that like everybody speaks a different language because it's a different country, but I was also just like, oh, okay, like people's default language is not English, clearly, since I'm in Denmark. But when their default language is something that I didn't know, I didn't really like consider how that would affect me in my day-to-day life before I came. And even just things as simple as like going to the grocery store. There are so many things in Danish grocery stores that I have zero clue what they are, or B, they just don't have things that I'm used to having at home. So that was probably one of the biggest adjustments. Just like I would get a shopping list and have to go buy groceries, and I'm like, what the hell are these things? And in the beginning, I really tried not to use Google Translate because, if you didn't know, my mom is a translator and she hates Google Translate because it's inaccurate. And also, if Google Translate becomes more widely used than it already is, then she will be out of a job. So I do not condone using Google Translate. I really, really tried not to use Google Translate just because I also wanted to like learn the language. So the first couple times I went to the grocery store, I was there for a good hour, almost 2 hours sometimes, depending on how long the list was, just because I was determined not to use my phone. So yes, the language barrier was difficult in the beginning, but I started Danish classes about a month after I got here in May. And I learned a lot of like the basic things like really, really quickly. So now I'd say that I'm like partially conversational. Like I can have a basic conversation with someone and I can understand like honestly, I can understand a fair amount. Of course, like when asked questions, I respond in English because that's my default language, but yeah, it's been pretty good so far. And I also hang out with a lot of really young kids who don't speak English, and they're really good about speaking Danish slowly so that I can understand, and some of them teach me new words, and so I learn a lot from the kids that I'm with, which is really, really fun. Next question. Is there something that you wish you'd known before moving? There are a lot of things I wish I knew before moving. Okay, let me rephrase. Not necessarily before moving, because before I moved, I already had been here for 3 months, so I knew that I was moving and I knew what I was going back to. So that wasn't really the difficult part, but I would say coming in like May and staying for those initial 3 months, there was a lot of things I wish I had kind of thought through a little bit more. One of which being the language. I did learn a little bit of like the basics on Duolingo, but like not enough to like be conversational. So I do wish that I had prepared and like learned a bit more of the language before I came, just because I think it would make things a lot easier. That's all I can think of at the moment, but yeah, I'm sure I'll think of something else. The next one says, how are you, girl? We miss you here. And this is from one of my university friends. And thank you for asking. I am really, really good. I honestly feel like, this is gonna sound really cliche, but I never have felt so like at home in a place before. And I'm not talking like the house, although I do love this house. I just mean like, I don't know. I'm only almost 19, and so like I haven't really had a lot of like moves in my life or like transition periods, but this has been like probably the biggest change that I've ever had in my life thus far, and I'm feeling really good about it. I'm really happy that I decided to move here, and I'm doing really well. Okay, another one. Someone says, Roshan, you should do a tour of coffee shops or just a tour of the city that you are in. All I'm gonna say is stay tuned. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, subscribe right now. Click the red button. Exciting things are coming, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it answers this question. It's coming. Okay, next question. When do the Christmas markets start and the Christmas beer? Okay, I will disclose who this question is from. It's from my mother. I love you, mother. Okay, one thing that actually all of my friends back home were like, what the heck just happened to you, Roshan? Who are you? But after being in Denmark and just Europe in general for those initial 3 months, I became a beer person. Yep, I did. So I like beer now, and my mom loves beer, so that was something that we bonded over when I was back home. When the Christmas markets start, I'm pretty sure they start in the next like 2-3-ish weeks, like mid-November to end of November, and I'm sure that's when the Christmas beer will start flowing. So I'll keep you updated, Mom. I will. Maybe I'll even bring some Danish Christmas beer back to Canada when I go home for Christmas. Okay, these two questions are very alike, and I saved them for last because I don't really have a lot to say on the matter. But if you want to know more, message me privately. Just kidding. What are Danish guys like? Okay. And someone else said men, ? That was my brother. Thanks, Armand. Yep. Danish men are very nice people. And that's all I'm going to say about this, because I know obviously there was some other things that I could insinuate from those questions. However, I'm just going to leave it at that. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video. Stay tuned, exciting things are coming. I know I've said that at the end of literally every video that I've posted, but this is where the real fun starts. So I'm going to post this video, and then there'll be another video, and then the fun. Well, actually, it's all going to be fun. I think it's all fun. But anyways, thank you so much for watching and for supporting the channel. I hope that you guys are having fun, like, watching what I'm getting up to. I'm really doing this as, like, a personal, like, video journal diary for myself to look back on, but I also think it's a nice way that my friends back home and at university can, like, stay in touch with what I'm doing and, like, I guess kind of see for themselves in a way. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment with future video suggestions. That's it, folks. Bye.